Big Shark! Big Shark is the new movie directed by Tommy Wiseau, starring Tommy Wiseau himself and a bunch of other actors, and is the first full feature-length film directed by Tommy Wiseau since The Room. So I had a really good time with Big Shark. I saw it a couple of nights ago with a friend at New Farm Cinemas where they were showing it. I know it's been out since last year, but this is the first time and chance I ever got to see it. So I think before I kind of go into my feelings about this movie, I think I should talk about Tommy Wiseau himself. So Tommy Wiseau is an infamous director who made a movie back in 2003, as you probably know, called The Room. Now what can I say about The Room? It's a terrible movie. Technically, it kind of just falls apart. It's really bad. But it has this charm that it's actually really, really funny to watch, and it has these very ironic, laugh out loud moments, and it's actually quite entertaining for a bad movie. And ever since The Room, Tommy Wiseau has kind of just, stepped out of the spotlight, probably embarrassed to make another film, and kind of feel a bit sorry for him because he was actually really trying to make a good film, but it just didn't work for him. There have been several online movie reviews that have torn apart The Room, and so many people who've really dove into this movie and really seen all that it has to offer. And then in 2017, there was a movie called The Disaster Artist starring James Franco, which was just kind of like a more professional take of like the story behind The Room and why it got made and how it got made. But anyway, flash forward to 2023, Big Shark is released, and I just had a really good time watching this movie. As I said, it's still very B movie quality, but in a way, it is still better than The Room. Even though the special effects are certainly not good, I will say that they do look very silly. Just the charm of just how silly it is kind of really worked for me, and this movie is hilarious. It is even funnier to me than what The Room was, and I think that all kind of harkens around to the special effects. So the special effects in this movie are poor. And it's also quite nonsensical. So every time the shark appears in the city of Georgia, of New Orleans, the streets just suddenly become flooded with water, and there's no logic to why this is happening. It's not telling you why. They're just flooding with water, and the water's basically coming from nowhere. I mean, one of the funniest lines in the entire movie is the first time like the nonsensical logic defying water is shown. And Tommy is walking down the street with like his mates, and then all of a sudden they notice water's going past their feet, and he just goes, "Water, look at that!" And it's just, you can't help but laugh at stuff like that. It's so weird and it just makes no sense, but it's just so funny. And wherever the water floods and like runs through the streets, the shark immediately follows, and the shark is kind of like this really bad green screen CGI shark. I mean, it looks bad, but it could definitely look much worse. But it's this very like this kind of like this recycled animation of the shark just swimming really fast towards the camera. And every time it came on screen, I just couldn't help from laugh of just how ridiculous and silly it looked. And there are a lot of funny deaths in this movie. There's this part of the movie where the shark is chasing Tommy Wiseau and his crew down the street in like this van, and there's just this randomly like almost conveniently placed shotgun that's in the back of the car, and one of the guys is like shooting at the shark, and Tommy's just saying, "Don't shoot the shark, you'll only make it more angry." And it's just, the whole tone of this movie is so piss funny. I haven't laughed this hard for a very long time, probably in over a year, and this is probably a movie that the first time I've laughed out loud at a movie, probably since like maybe 2016, from when I watched The Nice Guys. I mean, it was just so unironically funny, and even though the movie was sort of bad-ish in a way, it was still really entertaining. And there was also this part where like Tommy Wiseau starts singing this song, going, "Cowboys don't cry, heroes don't die, there's sparkles in the sky," and I don't remember the rest of it, but we were there was a full theatre full of people, and almost everybody was singing along to it. Everybody in this theatre, myself included, really got into this movie, and I just love how it made me laugh, and it was just such a funny movie. And as I said, it's not good. I mean, the quality of this movie is still pretty bad, but it has that really good B-movie quality that you don't really see from movies anymore. I mean, every movie now is trying its best to like look so professional and look like billions of dollars are backing and making it try to look as good and as professional as possible. And many of them don't meet the mark, and because of this, because they were trying to make it look so good and it didn't achieve that, very sadly sometimes the movie does fall apart. While with Big Shark, on the other hand, you can see that Tommy Wiseau didn't really give a shit about the quality of his movie. He just wanted to make something funny, and that he certainly did. So I did really like this movie. I'm not going to really give this movie a score, but I will recommend that you go see it if it's in a theatre near you. It's definitely worth the price of admission, I will say that, and it is very funny. I mean, it's a bad movie, but I had a lot of fun with it. And I do kind of hope that this does bring some success for Tommy Wiseau, because I feel like he knew that with The Room he did kind of make a stinking turd that did have an ironic cult following. And with this movie, I do think that this movie is better than The Room, and I do think that he has definitely succeeded in making kind of like a crowd-pleasing movie, even though like the budget and quality and technical quality of this movie is still really poor, but that's kind of his trademark now. But overall, I just had a really good time with this movie. I really, it is kind of strange of how much I did really enjoy it, but it was funny and it was entertaining and it was ridiculous, it was over the top, and just a very different cinema experience than what I'm used to. So yeah, I do recommend that you go see it. So that's my review of Big Shark, directed by Tommy Wiseau. Hope you enjoyed what I had to say about it, and as always, thank you for supporting the channel. Thanks.